If he tells me, you know what, that line is just not good enough, or it's just like, I don't feel it, then I know, okay, you know what, it's obviously not good enough.
Why an EP? Why not a full album?
Well, to be honest, we would have had like over 20 songs to choose from. So we could have recorded an album easily. The question is, are the songs really all strong enough? Not really sure about that. There might be if we, tweak them here and there. I think those 5 songs are strong enough just to be released right now. In this acoustic sort of stripped down setting, that was something we did on purpose. Of course I love the hammered organ. Of course I love guitars and horns and stuff like that. But that was a deliberate decision. Now, why an EP? I think it was a logistic thing really in the end, because the idea came about in February or something like that of this year, when Andreas mentioned to me in one of those coffee sharing fellowship times, hey, I'm gonna have a gig in October with these 2 guys called Matthias Meusel and Mark Ibermann. He just shared it as a piece of information. Said, these guys are coming to Switzerland, I'm gonna have a gig with these guys like as a trio. And then suddenly I thought, oh man, those 3 guys, Andreas, Matthias on drums and Mark on bass, were sort of my dream jazz soul trio lineup that I dreamt of really. If I wanted to record something stripped down in a new way acoustically, those 3 were in my mind for a long time. But it just, I wasn't even in that spot yet where I would want to say, okay, I'm going to record something now. He mentions that and I thought, okay, you know what? I told him, those 3 guys, that's exactly the 3 people that I had in mind if I recorded something. And he said, well, let's ask the 2 guys, maybe they're free, just to add a couple more days, before they come to Switzerland, because they come from Germany. And let's ask them, maybe they have time and they're up for it. You wrote an email. They responded within 24 hours, hey, we would love to do this, because we've known them, you've known them for years, I've known them for years, but I've never recorded with them.
Right.
So they agreed to do it, but we just had 2 days.
Yeah.
And so the idea was initially to record videos, 3 songs at first, 3 to 5 songs as videos, and then release them on YouTube and then see what happens. And so that's what we did. We didn't have more time for more songs. We would have had to, use 4 days, 5 days. We only had 2 out of logistic reasons. So that's why it's only 5 songs.
Okay, good. You probably answered it, but it was a question I had. How easy was it to collaborate?
Easy enough, I'd say.
So there were no stress in between.
No, not really. I mean, there's always anybody who works creatively in any way will tell you this. It's just there's a level of stress of not knowing what you're doing, and starting something, not knowing where you're going to end up with it. And there's the very awkward moment of trying to write lyrics together. It's quite frightening actually, because you have to kind of bare your soul. And tell each other about your ideas, although they're not mature in any way.
Right.
Or,
it's not concrete.
Sometimes you'd say things like, that's not going to be it, but how about?
Right.
And it's it takes a level of trust. And we kind of went there quite regularly, and it worked out well because we do trust each other, and it's you're not ashamed to suggest silly things, and sometimes good stuff comes out of that. And no real stress. I don't think there was ever a moment where you were totally into something and I just did not connect or did not like it at all,
or vice versa.
Didn't happen really.
Okay.
I cannot remember one single moment like where we were stressed, and it might still happen, you never know. But the thing is, we know each other so well and we trust each other so much. I mean, if he tells me, you know what, that line is just not good enough, or it's just like, I don't feel it, then I know, okay, you know what, it's obviously not good enough, because I trust his judgment. I know what he's talking about. I mean, he's experienced, he's a phenomenal piano player, a phenomenal songwriter. I'm thinking, okay, if he says that, then I better listen to him because I know it's going to be better. And that's the beauty of collaborating. I used to think I got to do my stuff on my own because then I know what I'm doing. I have control over everything. This is probably the best way to do it. But I learned my lesson and I realized, you know what? No, collaborating, just takes it to another level. It's going to add dimensions to it. It's going to add flavor. It's going to add colors that I wouldn't even dream of. I wouldn't even think of, So that's why I think it's the best way to go, and I wouldn't want to have it any other way.
Also, I think you can actually learn from the big hits on the radio. If you look at the big ones nowadays, I think most of them were written by 5 or 6 or 7 people. Endless lists of names, precisely for those reasons, because it will make a song better potentially.
Yeah, I would agree with you. I will agree with you for sure.
That's not to say that there can't be a moment where a single musician creates something wonderful. Of course,
because there's many of them not
there's
doing
loads of
it.
examples of that too.
Yeah.
But this time it was the two of us trying to find the songs.
Cool.
Right.
Yeah. Good. And how long did this project take anyway for you guys to do?
Let's put it this way. Well, the first album took about 5.5, 6 years, right, to be completed.
Yep.
This one, maybe 6 weeks. Well, I mean, from recording until it was released.
Okay, because the songs were there already, right?
The songs were there already.
Right.
But I mean, the whole process took, years. I mean, we've been meeting for years.
Right.
And of course, that's why we have, if we did it, let's say, more deliberately, we would have even more songs. But I mean, it's just, over the years, we accumulated a few songs, and those 5 songs that are now on the EP are sort of the most recent ones, pretty much.
Right.
We have some older ones that are still good, but we might tweak them. And there are new songs that are gonna come.
Yeah, for sure.
But the whole process, this was probably the last year we've been writing songs, meeting, every few weeks, but really deciding and then recording and everything, that was just a couple of months.
Yeah, so everything was organic then, really.
Yeah, it felt
especially with the recording.
very natural.
Oh,
And
Yeah. That's awesome.